Have you ever felt like your legs are getting heavier with each passing year? Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night with painful cramps that make you grip the edge of the mattress. Maybe climbing a single flight of stairs leaves you breathless, holding on to the railing. Maybe you've noticed a numbness, a tingling, or that uncomfortable pins and needles feeling in your feet that just won't go away. If any of this sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to share could truly change how your legs feel, starting this very week. Hello, my friend. I'm Dr. Ethan Carter. For more than 20 years, I've dedicated my practice to caring for adults over 60. I've sat across from thousands of patients who walked into my office convinced that weak, painful legs were just a normal part of getting older. And I've watched many of those same patients walk out, months later, stronger, steadier, and more confident than they'd felt in a decade. Here's the truth your doctor may not have time to tell you. After the age of 60, your body goes through very real changes. You lose between 1 and 2% of your muscle mass every single year if you don't take action. Your blood circulation slows down, especially to your lower legs and feet. Chronic low-grade inflammation begins attacking your joints. Your body produces less collagen, the protein that holds your tendons and ligaments together. And all of that can make your legs feel like they belong to someone 20 years older than you are. But here's what most people never hear. Your body still has an incredible capacity to heal itself if you give it the right raw materials. Today, I'm going to share 5 specific foods with you. Nothing exotic, nothing expensive, nothing you can't find at Walmart, Kroger, Publix, or your neighborhood grocery store. These are the same 5 foods I recommend to my own patients. Foods backed by studies in peer-reviewed medical journals, and foods I've personally watched transform the way my patients' legs feel and function. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple, practical plan you can start using this very week. No pills. No supplements. No gimmicks. Just real food doing exactly what it was designed to do. And before we begin, if you find this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps me reach more seniors who deserve this information. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Every week I share evidence-based health tips specifically for adults over 60. All right, let's talk about the first superfood. Our first superfood is something you probably already know, but I can almost guarantee you're not eating enough of it. I'm talking about spinach. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Carter, spinach. Really? That's it? I hear you, but stay with me, because what spinach does for your legs is nothing short of remarkable. Here's what the research shows. Spinach is one of the richest natural sources of something called dietary nitrates. When you eat spinach, your body converts those nitrates into a molecule called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. When your blood vessels widen, more blood flows through them, especially down into your legs, your calves, and your feet. For someone over 60 who's been dealing with cold feet, numbness, or that heavy, sluggish feeling in their legs, improving circulation can feel like turning a light back on. You begin to notice your feet feel warmer, walking feels smoother, that nagging heaviness starts to lift. On top of that, spinach is loaded with magnesium. And magnesium is the mineral your muscles need to relax properly. If you're someone who wakes up at 2 or 3 in the morning with a sharp, twisting cramp in your calf, You, my friend, are very likely low in magnesium. A simple cup of cooked spinach contains nearly 40% of what you need for the whole day. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 68 years old from Ohio. She came to me complaining about numbness in her toes and painful leg cramps at night that were ruining her sleep. We didn't put her on any new medication. I simply asked her to eat 1 cup of cooked spinach or a large handful of fresh spinach in a salad every day for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, she called my office almost in tears. The cramps were gone. The numbness had faded. She said she felt like she had her legs back. Now, how should you eat it? Keep it simple. Throw a handful of fresh spinach into your morning smoothie. You won't even taste it. Add it to salads. Sauté it with a little olive oil and garlic as a side dish. Stir it into soups and stews at the last minute. 1 cup of cooked spinach a day is a powerful therapeutic dose. One important word of caution. If you take a blood thinner like warfarin, please speak with your doctor before making spinach a daily habit. Spinach is rich in vitamin K, which can affect how your medication works. That doesn't mean you can't eat it. It means you need consistency and medical guidance. For everyone else, load up. Your legs will thank you. The second superfood on my list is wild salmon. And I want to be very specific here. Wild-caught salmon, not farm-raised whenever possible. Here's why salmon is so powerful for aging legs. After the age of 60, 2 things are quietly working against you. The first is chronic inflammation, the kind of low-grade, invisible inflammation that slowly wears down your knees, your hips, and the muscles of your legs. The second is sarcopenia, which is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. Together, these 2 forces can rob you of your strength, your balance, and eventually your independence. Wild salmon fights both of them at the same time. First, salmon is one of the richest sources of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These omega-3s act like a natural anti-inflammatory inside your body. Studies have shown that seniors who eat fatty fish twice a week have measurably lower markers of inflammation and report less joint pain. Your knees hurt less when you stand up. Your hips move more freely when you walk. That is omega-3 at work. Second, salmon is packed with high-quality protein, the kind your aging muscles are desperate for. After 60, your body becomes less efficient at using the protein you eat. That means you actually need more protein, not less, to maintain muscle. A single serving of salmon delivers around 22 grams of bioavailable protein that your body can use right away to rebuild and maintain the muscles of your legs. And third, this is something most people overlook. Salmon is one of the very few natural food sources of vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely essential for muscle strength and balance, and the majority of American seniors are deficient. Low vitamin D is strongly linked to muscle weakness and falls. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert is 72 years old, and he used to be a carpenter. When he came to see me, he could barely climb the stairs in his own house without stopping on the landing to catch his breath. We made some changes, and one of the biggest was having him eat a serving of wild salmon twice a week. About 6 weeks later, Robert walked into my office smiling. He told me he'd climbed the stairs 3 times that morning without a single stop. His legs, he said, finally felt alive again. How should you eat it? A serving is about the size of the palm of your hand, roughly 4 to 6 ounces, 2 times a week. Bake it with a little lemon. Pan-sear it in olive oil. Or, if you're short on time, canned wild salmon is excellent and very affordable. Just avoid deep frying it, which adds inflammation right back in. If fresh salmon feels pricey, look for canned wild Alaskan salmon at your local store. It's one of the best values in the entire grocery aisle, and it's incredibly good for your legs. Our third superfood is small, sweet, and absolutely delicious. Blueberries. If you walk into my kitchen at home, you'll always find a container of blueberries in the refrigerator or the freezer. And I'll tell you why. Blueberries contain some of the highest levels of plant compounds called anthocyanins. Those are the pigments that give them their deep, rich, blue-purple color. And anthocyanins are some of the most powerful protectors of your blood vessels ever studied. Here's what that means for your legs. As we age, the tiny blood vessels, the capillaries, in our legs and feet become more fragile. They leak. They weaken. This is why so many seniors develop swelling around the ankles, those little purple or red broken capillaries on the calves, and that puffy feeling in the feet by the end of the day. The anthocyanins in blueberries literally strengthen the walls of those small blood vessels. Research has shown they improve what scientists call endothelial function, a fancy way of saying they help your blood vessels behave more like those of a younger person. Over time, people who eat blueberries regularly report less ankle swelling, less of that achy end-of-day heaviness, and better overall circulation. And there's more. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants that fight the oxidative stress that damages your muscles, nerves, and joints as you age. Ounce for ounce, they are one of the most antioxidant-rich foods you can put in your grocery cart. Let me share Linda's story. Linda is 65, and she came to me worried about the swelling in her ankles. Every evening, her ankles looked puffy and her shoes felt tight. We looked at her labs. We ruled out heart and kidney problems. She was healthy. I suggested she eat half a cup of blueberries every morning with her breakfast. Just that one simple change. 3 months later, Linda told me her ankles hadn't been that slim in years. Her wedding ring, which she'd taken off because her fingers were puffy, fit comfortably again. How much should you eat? Half a cup a day is the sweet spot. Eat them fresh when they're in season. When they're not, frozen blueberries are just as nutritious. In some studies, even more so, because they're frozen at peak ripeness. Toss them into oatmeal. Sprinkle them on Greek yogurt. Blend them into a smoothie with spinach and walnuts, 2 more of our superfoods. Here's a money-saving tip for my budget-conscious friends. A big bag of frozen wild blueberries at Costco or Sam's Club will last you more than a month and costs far less than buying fresh berries every week. Please don't let price be the reason you miss out on this. Blueberries are one of the best investments you can make in your legs and your whole body. Our fourth superfood is walnuts. Now, there are a lot of nuts out there: almonds, cashews, pecans, pistachios, and they're all healthy. But when it comes to your legs, walnuts stand in a category of their own. Here's why. Walnuts are the only nut with a significant amount of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids in the form of ALA. Remember how I told you that omega-3s reduce inflammation? Walnuts give you a daily dose, especially valuable on the days you're not eating salmon. But the real magic of walnuts, at least for your legs, comes from an amino acid called L-arginine. L-arginine is what your body uses to produce nitric oxide, the same molecule we talked about with spinach. More nitric oxide means wider blood vessels, better circulation, warmer feet, and less of that cold, numb, heavy feeling in the legs. And then there's vitamin E. Walnuts are loaded with it. Vitamin E is a powerful protector of your peripheral nerves, the nerves that run all the way down your legs and into your toes. For seniors who experience tingling, burning, or numbness in their feet, sometimes from diabetes, sometimes from age, sometimes from causes we can't pin down, vitamin E has been shown in multiple studies to help calm those nerves. Let me tell you about James. James is 70 years old and has lived with type 2 diabetes for over 15 years. When he first came to me, he was losing sensation in both feet. He couldn't feel the floor when he stepped out of bed in the morning. We worked on many things together: better blood sugar control, more walking, but one simple addition made a noticeable difference. He started eating a small handful of walnuts every single day. Within 3 months, James told me the tingling had softened. He could feel the carpet under his feet again. Not perfect, but meaningfully better. And for a man with long-standing diabetes, that is a very big deal. Now, how much should you eat? A small handful, about 1 ounce or roughly 14 walnut halves every day. That's it. Don't go overboard because walnuts are calorie-dense and the calories add up quickly. Choose raw or dry-roasted, unsalted walnuts. Skip the candied or heavily salted kinds at the front of the snack aisle. The easiest way to make walnuts a daily habit is to put a small container of them right next to your coffee maker. Every morning, grab your handful. Eat them on their own. Chop them into your oatmeal. Toss them on a salad. Or sprinkle them over Greek yogurt with blueberries. Before you know it, you'll have woven 4 of the 5 superfoods into a single breakfast. One last note. If you have a tree nut allergy, which some adults develop later in life, please skip this one and double down on the others. And always store your walnuts in the refrigerator or freezer. The same healthy oils that make them so good for you also make them go rancid quickly at room temperature. Our 5th and final superfood might be the most humble one on the entire list, but don't let that fool you. I'm talking about black beans, or, if you prefer, lentils. Either one will do the job beautifully. After 60, one of the biggest threats to your legs is poor circulation caused by cholesterol buildup in your arteries. When the arteries in your legs start to narrow, you get something called peripheral artery disease, leg pain when you walk, cold feet, slow healing wounds, and a real risk of much bigger problems down the road. This is more common than people realize. Black beans and lentils are a quiet, powerful weapon against this exact problem. They're loaded with soluble fiber, the kind of fiber that actively pulls cholesterol out of your body before it can clog your arteries. Study after study has shown that people who eat beans and lentils regularly have lower LDL cholesterol, healthier arteries, and better circulation throughout their whole body, including their legs. On top of that, beans are rich in folate, which helps your body repair damaged blood vessels. They deliver plant-based iron to fight the fatigue and heaviness in your legs that sometimes comes from low-grade anemia, a surprisingly common issue in older adults. And they pack a nice dose of protein, which, once again, your muscles need to stay strong. Here's Dorothy's story. Dorothy is 74 years old. Her main complaint was simple but life-limiting. She couldn't walk around her local park with her friends anymore. After just 10 minutes, her calves would start to ache and she'd have to sit down. We added half a cup of cooked black beans to her lunch almost every day. It's such a small change. But combined with short daily walks, within about 2 months, Dorothy was completing a full lap around the park again, 30 minutes, no stops. She called it a miracle. I call it basic nutrition science. How should you eat them? Half a cup of cooked black beans or lentils most days of the week. Add them to soups and chili. Stir them into salads. Mash them into a simple bean dip. Use them to replace some of the meat in tacos and burritos. Canned beans are perfectly fine. Just rinse them well to reduce the sodium. If you're worried about gas or bloating, a real concern for many of my patients, here's my kitchen trick. Either buy dry beans and soak them for 8 hours before cooking, or buy canned beans and give them a very thorough rinse under cold water for a full minute. Start with just a quarter cup and work up gradually. Your digestive system will adjust within about 2 weeks, and the discomfort almost always fades. Beans are one of the cheapest, most sustainable, and most underrated foods in the entire American grocery store. Your grandparents and great-grandparents ate beans several times a week, and they had some of the healthiest legs of any generation. There's wisdom in that. Let's bring it back. All right, my friend. Let's put this all together, because I don't want you to leave this video feeling overwhelmed. I want you to leave feeling ready. Here's the simplest way to start. You don't need a complicated diet or a meal prep marathon. Just build one easy day that hits all 5 superfoods and repeat the pattern. For breakfast, have a bowl of oatmeal topped with half a cup of blueberries and a small handful of chopped walnuts. That one meal alone gives you 2 of the 5 superfoods, and it takes 5 minutes to make. For lunch, make a big salad with plenty of fresh spinach as the base. Top it with a piece of canned wild salmon, some olive oil, and lemon juice. 2 more superfoods, 1 easy bowl. For dinner, enjoy a warm bowl of black bean soup, a simple bean chili, or a Mexican-inspired bowl with black beans, brown rice, avocado, and salsa. The 5th superfood, right there. Do that most days of the week. Not perfectly, just consistently. And within a few weeks, you will begin to feel the difference. In my practice, most patients start noticing changes somewhere between the 4th and 8th week. Now, let me quickly share the 3 mistakes I see seniors make with this plan, so you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, relying on just one food. One superfood alone won't do it. These foods work best as a team, each doing their own job. Mistake number 2, giving up too early. Your body took years to get where it is. Give it at least 6 to 8 weeks of consistency before you judge the results. Mistake number 3, skipping movement. Food is the raw material. Gentle daily movement, even just a 10-minute walk after each meal, is what turns that nutrition into real strength in your legs. And finally, one very important word of caution. If you ever experience sudden, severe pain in one leg, noticeable swelling on only one side, a change in skin color, or unusual warmth, please don't wait. Those can be warning signs of a blood clot, and you need to see a doctor right away. This video is about everyday healing, not about replacing emergency care. So let's quickly recap the 5 superfoods that can help repair your legs faster than you ever thought possible. Number 1, spinach, for better circulation and no more nighttime cramps. Number 2, wild salmon, to fight inflammation and rebuild your muscles. Number 3, blueberries, to strengthen your blood vessels and calm that swelling. Number 4, walnuts, to protect your nerves and warm up cold feet. And number 5, black beans or lentils, to keep your arteries clean and your legs walking strong. My friend, I want you to hear me on this. Your age does not decide the strength of your legs. Your daily habits do. I have seen men and women in their 80s who are stronger, steadier, and happier than some of my patients in their 60s, for one reason and one reason only. They made better choices, one meal at a time. You are never too old to heal. You are never too old to feel better. And the kitchen is one of the most powerful pharmacies you will ever walk into. So here's my challenge to you today. Pick just one of these 5 foods, whichever one speaks to you, and add it to your grocery list this week. Just one. Start there. Small steps, consistent steps, will carry you a very long way. In the comments below, tell me which of the 5 superfoods you're going to try first. I read the comments, and I love seeing your plans. It reminds me of why I do this. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and, most importantly, share it with someone you love who is over 60. Your parents, your spouse, a friend from church, someone who needs to hear this today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm Dr. Ethan Carter. Take good care of your legs. They have a lot of beautiful walking left to do. I'll see you in the next video.